This is a Ferrari Dino 308 GT4. So made by Ferrari, badged as a Dino. The 308 is a 3-liter V8 engine, mid-engine, and it's a very kind of wedge-shaped and rectangular car. It's got kind of square turn signals under a square bumper. The square grille and the front bonnet is the air outlet for the radiator, so the air goes in the scoop. You can probably see the radiator fans in there. Those radiator fans are actually funny. They have 4 blades each. So the radiator's there and the air vents up through the bonnet and over the car. So pretty laid-back windshield. Again, it's got square door handles to kind of go with that squarish motif. And it's got the little Bertone badge designed by Bertone. Bertone was pretty well known for these kind of wedge-shaped cars like the Fiat X19 and the Triumph TR7 are other Bertone cars. The engine is in the middle lid there. I'll open up that in a minute, and then you've got a trunk in the back as well. And square rear bumper. Again, kind of square brake lights going with that whole square theme. But it's a pretty neat shape. It's I would say it's pretty dated. Definitely looks 70s. Again, it's a 75. So, but it's it's pretty wild, pretty out there, pretty space age. It's got these air ducts on both sides. One side feeds the air inlet for the engine, and the other is, I believe, for an oil cooler. We'll open up the engine lid and take a close look in a sec. The interior of the car has, again, some of those same types of rectangular motifs from the door panel, the instrument cluster with the switches. Let me hop in. Sitting inside the car here, again, I love this gauge panel. It's kind of aluminum with these toggle switches. They're pretty funny. Not terribly aesthetic or ergonomic, but that's just the way they made it. Kind of simple and rectangular. It's got tachometer on the right and your speedometer on the left. You've got your benzina, your fuel gauge, your oleo pressure, your aqua temperature, and then over here on the side is your oleo temperature. I imagine originally it probably had a Dino horn button. The air vents say Dino on them. I don't know how visible that is. The center console, it's got the Ferrari gated shifter, of course, 5-speed. Radio kind of in a funny place over there. This toggle switch is for the power antenna. This actually has the air conditioning, which is like a secondary set of controls of temperature and then fan speed. You've got your 2 window switches, ashtray, kind of a funny cigarette lighter. It doesn't come out like a normal cigarette lighter. Instead, you put your cigarette in there, you push the ring down, and it heats it up and lights the tip of the cigarette from the inside. Choke lever. Choke is disconnected on this car. And then you've got your parking brake. And the the GT4 is because it's a GT car with seating for 4, and it has this little rear seat. Now this front seat on the passenger side is all the way up, so you see how much leg room the rear passengers get. And for making this video, I put the driver's seat all the way back, and I think you're going to see that it actually touches the back seat there. So not many people are sitting back on that side. It's got the glove compartment with a little hidden button down below to open up the glove compartment. I don't think I can do it with one hand. So you push the button below, you get the glove compartment opened. It's got a little vanity mirror. Your fuses are in there. Owner's manual, registration, that sort of thing. And here's another little factory service light. It's got a little plug to plug into the cigarette lighter, and then a little light on the magnetic back. So in an emergency, you can see what you're doing, make your repairs on the road. Because of because the engine's in the back, the wheel wells, you know, the front feet are kind of in line with the wheel wells. So you can see that the pedals are kind of shifted off to the center of the car a little bit. You know, you can look from the steering wheel. They're not quite in line with the steering wheel here. They're offset a little bit. But it's got a great view looking forward. When you're driving around, you just have a spectacular view of the road forward because the hood slopes down so quickly. And, you know, with the large windows on the sides, you get a really good view of the side. The little rear view mirror over here is pretty useless. Like, you can kind of vaguely see what might be behind the left side of you, and that's about it. But the main rear view mirror, it's pretty good. You know, you get a view out the back that's pretty usable. So here's in the engine compartment. So the engine lid is raised up here. So again, you can see that V8 engine. It's got 2-cylinder banks with 4 on each. You see the 4 plug wires there. They did dual distributors on this car, so you can see that the 4 plugs on this bank are run off of this camshaft, and on the front bank they run off the front camshaft. Here you can see the rubber boot from that intake scoop, you know, right here. Right there, it goes right in to that rubber boot, and then there's this black box here which has oil lines going to it, so that is an oil cooler for the engine. This is the bell housing, so that's where the clutch is, and then the transmission is kind of behind the engine. You can see I don't know how well you can see it. You can just see a drive shaft right here next to the exhaust. You can probably see the drive shaft boot in the CV joint right there. So that's where that's where it comes out. That's where the power comes out. So you've got belt-driven twin camshafts, you know, an exhaust cam and an intake cam, and then you have 4 carburetors. They look like double barrels, 4 double barrel carburetors feeding the engine. And then this is your air box on top where the air goes in, and it has a boot, and so that's going to the air scoop on the passenger side of the car. You've got your radiator overflow tank. You've got your dipstick against the firewall there, nice aluminum firewall, looking a little spotty. Probably have to get in and clean that. You've got your accessories here. It's got an air conditioning AC pump on the top there, and the alternator is down below, down low. And then, you know, there, of course, belt drive off the front. The water pump is right here with your water outlet. Now this has a front mounted radiator, so the coolant goes all the way up to the front to get cooled, and then it comes back. You can see that's 1/2 of the gas tank over there in the corner. The little thing on the top is for the fuel level sending unit, and there's another gas tank half on this side, in this corner. So they split the gas load on either side of the car. There's a crossover pipe in the bottom, so there's only one filler for it. But that helps keep the weight distributed evenly as the fuel is consumed. But it's a pretty nice package. So the next generation car, the 308, the non-GT4 308, the kind of curvy Pininfarina bodied car that everyone associates with Magnum PI, is essentially the same power plant and drivetrain and chassis structure, just a little shorter wheelbase, because of course they don't have the rear seats, and of course the body is designed by Pininfarina, which is known for very curvy bodies and not the squarish Bertoni ones. So the lid with the Dino 308 GT4 logo is the trunk. So it's right here. Probably gets pretty warm, so I wouldn't, put your cold beer back here, but it could hold definitely a few cases of beer, some suitcases. You could really travel with this car and take your luggage with you. I bet you can fit quite a bit in there. This car has the original toolkits and everything. It's got this kind of funny little spring clip thing to hold the lid up. And then we'll open the front trunk too, or the front hatch. Not so much, maybe bonnet is a better word. Not quite a trunk, because there's really no storage area in there. But it does have a full-size spare tire. That looks like the original type of tire that would have come on this car on one of the original rims. It has aftermarket rims on it now. And then there's your radiator, so you can see that grill where the air ducts out. On the side here you've got your windshield washer reservoir bag. It's just a little baggie that has an electric pump on the bottom, so that's where you put your washer fluid. See your motor for your pop-up headlight. And then on the other side of the car is where the battery goes. So the battery's here, and then you can see the headlight motor on that side. Here's your brake reservoir for the braking system. So pretty simple little car. Again, typical kind of Ferrari build. A lot of sheet aluminum on top of a steel frame chassis with like some vacuum formed plastic as kind of trim. But it's, pretty Spartan, just a painted surface inside. It's kind of neat with all the lids open. It kind of has a, I don't know, like a mailbox or letterbox or something silly.